Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Main Event Mixer here on the Main Event Wrestling Network. I brought back a couple old friends here, a good pal of mine, especially to my right, maybe your left. I don't know how it works on your screen, but I am joined, of course, by my co-host of the OTM podcast, Mr. Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Dickie. What's going on, brother?
I'm mixing it up. I'm not selling it OTM because we gotta keep the brand straight. But I am thrilled to be here. It has been a minute, really close to being fairly regularly scheduled throughout the fall, but excited to join you, Gags. And we're excited to have from the Wrestling Junkies podcast, the podcast dad, Pops. Sup, dog?
I think this is a first-time trio combo, right?
It is.
The first time we've done this. No, it's exciting.
We've had a mixer with Eric, the four of
Yes.
us, but the three of us, here we go.
He's getting
What's
all
he got going
domesticated,
on
so
tonight?
be careful.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, he might have found a long-term relationship. Oh boy.
Oh,
Hey.
oh.
We're
I've
happy
warned
for
him
him, right?
plenty of times.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
not bad.
Okay.
As I'm celebrating having a completely empty house with the wife and baby gone.
So that's why you're partying for Forbidden Door, huh?
Oh yeah,
No,
they'll
no
be
work
back.
or anything tomorrow?
I have summer school tomorrow, but I can essentially sleepwalk through that. They take an online class, and I just have to click when they get to a test and unlock it, and the computer scores the writing.
Yeah.
So I do nothing. I am
Shout
starting my
AI.
master's tomorrow, so starting my master's hungover. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
Cheers.
should be a fun night. Podcast Dad, what's your 4th of July week looking like? Do you got to work every day, or you got a couple days off here?
I am off for the 4th of July, but I am back working on the 5th of July. So a little bit of a weird schedule, but I get one day off, so I'm not mad. And then my July, we're going to talk about it on our show. I'm traveling a lot, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We got Chattanooga for the SCI tournament, not next week, but the week after. Eric and I will be going down there. And then I have a trip with a couple guy friends going to a beach. And then we got SummerSlam. Like, whew.
It's approaching very fast, guys. I know I've
Yes.
been giving updates in the group chat occasionally. I don't know what we're at right now, but I know we got to be in the 30s somewhere, which is
It's getting close.
crazy to think about. So definitely be on the lookout. Make sure you're following the network on all the socials at @mainevent_net. That's where you're going to find everything Main Event Wrestling Network related. The Wrestling Junkies podcast, OTM, Tino's Time Wrestling. We got great bloggers there as well. And of course, Tim Vicious doing his vicious rants every single week. Some great stuff going on. And this week only, if you go to the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com, you can get some Main Event merch for 10% off. All you have to do is use promo code DOOR. You can get yourself a tapestry like this one from OTM or the Wrestling Junkies, as you can see behind the podcast dad down below. That is available at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. So
I'm gonna
use
have
that
to.
promo code.
I'm gonna have to use that promo code. I have started hanging banners, wrestling related banners, on my ceiling in my classroom. I've got the Rock and Roll Express, the Hardys, a Roddy Piper, and then a Pro Wrestling Tees one that looks like the NWO. I think the OTM one and the Wrestling Junkies one would both look great on my ceiling.
I would agree.
We're going to have to make that happen then for sure. So, yeah, if you want to follow our shows, the Junkies, they do more episodes than us. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, 4 days a week, right?
Yes, so we do 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday.
Fuck.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 6:30. Wednesdays are at 8:30 because I still have to be a dad, and we have stuff going on Wednesdays. But I will not take myself away from the pod ever, except for that 1 week I did. But I did make a guest
You
appearance.
still were there.
I made a guest appearance.
You made it happen
Respect.
for sure. Yeah, they're cranking out content.
No
so you
shit.
can see our shows down below. It's the Dad and Gag show over here. If you didn't know, my nickname is Gags. I always have to preface that because it's usually only what wiffle ball people call me, but a lot of my friends call me Gags as well. So if anybody calls me Gags, Kyle, Mr. OTM, I go by a lot of names. So, guys, I say we get into things. We got Forbidden Door happening literally, I think in an hour is when the pre-show is going to start, and I'm not going to pull up any of the pre-show matches. It just doesn't feel. I don't feel like
Four of them.
those. It's
Four.
4. What are they? Do you know them off the top of your head?
What are they?
Yeah.
I can pull that up if you want to vamp.
Soraya and Mariah May are happening, I believe, on the buy.
Yes, that is the first one. Who wins that one? Just go real quick.
Mariah May.
I think she wins the whole tournament, so
Is she the one that defeats Tony Storm, you think?
I think so.
Probably, unless Jamie Hayter returns anytime soon.
Don't.
You not a hater?
I am. I love Jamie Hayter, but she's fallen off the face of the earth.
So is Britt Baker.
I don't.
Where's she been?
I don't need Britt Baker.
Yeah, she's a wrestler too.
I don't need Britt Baker.
You're not a Britt Baker guy then.
I don't want to get in trouble, but no. We have Los. I'm gonna destroy this name.
I'm gonna butcher some too. Don't worry.
Ingo. I don't even know how to say it.
Ingo Bernables.
Yes, De Japón versus the Lucha Brothers and Mystico. I mean, that'll be a fun match, right? Like a high flying, fast paced match. Chris Statlander and Momo Wana. I don't know how to say it. I've had a couple of drinks. Against Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano. I think Statlander wins that because these guys these gals are literally going 1-on-1 next Wednesday. So,
okay.
At Beach Break. So I know Mr. Cincinnati wanted the blow off to be at Wembley. I told him that wasn't going to happen. Maybe you should listen to me more. And then they just announced last night for all those Collision watchers out there. I think you were the only one.
I was the only one watching last night. I watched last night. I don't watch regularly, no.
We have the House of Black, which is Malachi Black and Brody King versus Tomohiro Ishii and Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong and Gabe Kidd versus Private Party.
All right. I don't know the method of the madness and why that became a thing, but yeah, that match is definitely happening. But like Robbie said, it is going to be a very lengthy card. This card is no good for his sleep. I believe it starts at 1:00 a.m. his time. So, yeah, if you're going to be watching live, you're going to be pulling an all-nighter. And Great Brown Hope
Different Mystico.
Mystico's still botching it up? Oh, is that old Sin Cara?
Different guy.
Oh, that is a different guy. I thought they were the same.
No, I think Sin Cara's Mystico something else. I don't know. Gotcha. I seriously don't know. The whole CMLL thing, I do not watch it, so I don't know much about these guys.
I think I could speak for Tuck and myself. We also do not watch CMLL or New Japan. Correct, Tuck?
I watch a little New Japan.
I dabble with New Japan far more than CMLL. I went to Sasha's United States debut in San Jose. I did wake up to watch that and navigated the Japanese site to pay for it. I think that's kind of impressive. And that was an early boy. But cool.
Yeah, so full disclaimer, while we're going through these matches, we might not know some of these people, but we're going to do our best and try to predict, because the one thing that I think all can agree on is that AEW typically delivers on their pay-per-views. So it should be a fun night of wrestling. So let's get into the main card here. Starting off with the Elite, who will be taking on an odd pairing of the Acclaimed and Tanahashi, which I never in my life would think that Tanahashi would be teaming with the Acclaimed. But here we are, Tucky. I believe this is going to be 4-on-4 action here. Who do you see walking away with the victory?
I'm going to go with the Elite. I'm going with the Elite in that they're a team, and the Acclaimed seemingly are thrown with somebody else. I don't know what this does for the Acclaimed winning the match compared to what it could hurt the Elite if they lose it. So that's where I'm at. I'm going with the Elite, even though I do own the foam scissors.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nice. You're probably the only one I know that has a pair. So
Mikey Wilson has a pair too.
That I expect that out of him. That makes a lot of sense. Podcast Dad, you in agreement with Tucky here?
I think so. I also have an Acclaimed T-shirt, so I don't wear that. I don't get to wear that out, but yeah, I do.
Is it the one that says "Scissor me, Daddy ass"?
It is, yes.
Very
of course. I'm a
definitely a Dynamite watching a Jace shirt at home on the couch.
It's fine. Yeah, I think the Elite will win. My only hang up is Tanahashi is the booker for New Japan, so do they want to have him job? I don't know the politics behind that, because if you look at the card, I don't see a ton of New Japan people winning. So could this be one where they sneak that in? Maybe. I don't know. The Elite probably need it more just to continue to be the dominant mid card heel stable that they are. But we'll go with the Elite for why not.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Great Brown Hope said Cinta de Oro is the guy who took over Sin Cara's character after Mystico was let go from WWE. The Mystico in AEW is the first Sin Cara that botched like crazy.
Say like,
okay. We don't keep up with this stuff, but Great Brown Hope knows.
I'm going to believe you.
Hey, he's
I don't know
the
how many
MBM of
Mysticos there
OTM,
are.
so he knows. Robbie said he's still learning himself AEW and New Japan's knowledge, but he's going to go with the Elite, and I'm going to have to go with the Elite as well. They got a lot of steam behind them. They're definitely the top faction right now in AEW, and I think this could play on a match that's happening here in a little bit that we're going to talk about too, where Jungle Boy Jack Perry is going to be going for a title. I think maybe soon we'll be seeing all of the Elite in gold, so the only way to get there is to keep the momentum hot. So I'm going to go with the Elite to pick up the victory over the Acclaimed and Tanahashi, which then takes us to the podcast dad's favorite faction right now in professional wrestling, Under the Learning Tree.
Sit up.
Yeah, he's got to sit up for this one. It's Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Jeff Cobb, who we found out will be the mystery partner on Collision, taking on Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. Since you're Under the Learning Tree podcast dad, I will let you go first on this one.
I am Under the Learning Tree. It's a great gimmick, the best use of Chris Jericho in, 3 years. Eric and I go back and forth on this. He just wants Jericho to go away. I think AEW is paying Jericho a lot of money, so why would you have him go away? They have to justify, that's his favorite word, justify the contract. So have him run a lower to mid-card title reign with the FTW champion. I think it's the best use at the moment. You don't want him in the main event. You don't want him in the mid card. Have him take the FTW champion because nobody cares about that one anyway. Saying all that, they're going to lose. Joe, Hook, and Shibata should probably win this. I think the story is more about Joe and Hook rather than Jericho or Big Bill at the moment. And we're seeing the relationship between Joe and Hook kind of come to fruition. I really like that too because it gives Hook a much needed rub after not doing much since the title match against Joe. So give me Joe, Hook, and Shibata.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think eventually Hook is going to get back to that FTW title, but it's so hard to predict against Chris Jericho on these AEW pay-per-views. I feel like I always expect him to lose and put over talent, but I guess he is putting over talent in a different way, so I don't think he needs to win this one. I think there's a stronger trio on the other side with Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. They've been a more cohesive group, and Jeff Cobb is that wild card. So maybe Jeff Cobb's there just to eat the pinfall in this one. But I am going to go with Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. What about you, Tuck?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Joe, Hook, and Shibata as well. Nothing more to add other than interesting to see how this one plays out because Jericho, Big Bill, Jeff Cobb, big humans. So you got three big boys on one team compared to Shibata and Hook paired with Samoa Joe. So like it's an interesting, in my opinion, skill sets, like Big Bill, Jericho, Jeff Cobb, power sets. And so I do think this could be shit or it could be great as well. Like I
agree.
I like it. This could be one of those matches where you're like, I actually didn't think that one was going to pop off and went hard, or some things could happen the other way too. But I'm going Joe, Hook, and Shibata.
It's fine. It's the piss break match. It's fine.
There might be a couple other options on the card for that, but hey, nonetheless.
I'll be asleep by the time those come on.
I was going to say, what time do you think this show's going to finish our time?
I don't know, but I'm watching it in 2 nights, so that's what I've come to with these AEW shows. Like I can't stay awake, especially when they do it on Sundays. I can't stay awake for the whole thing.
Do you think they're staying away from Saturday since WWE has kind of taken that spot?
Probably.
I don't know. It's interesting because a lot of times they'll run on Sundays on the 3-day weekends and things like that. But yeah, I'm fortunate it starts at 5 for me. So
yeah, that's not bad. So it will finish at 11 o'clock your time.
I have a bedtime too, so I might have to cut it somewhere.
You also have a little one that you got to take care of, I'm sure. Or
It's
is he
been
with
awesome.
Mista?
He's with Mista, but they'll be home this evening. So 5 months yesterday, dude. It's crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, mine turned 2 last month. It flies. Don't worry.
No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, I don't have one, guys, so I can't.
It's okay. You'll get there.
We're
It
all
requires a couple
winning in
steps.
our separate ways, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure you're fine. I'm sure you're happy on the inside.
Fine is a great way of putting it. Podcasting. Robbie said, I think I've said this before. I love Jericho, but this sucks, and I absolutely hate it. I will say it does suit Jericho well. I think the learning tree take is why not? Yeah, well, that's fair.
I hate it, but they'll probably win. Is that what he said?
I love this Jericho. I don't know why everybody hates it.
I hate it, but that's a good thing. I mean,
that's
you're
exactly.
following
It's so
exactly
over the
what they
top and
want.
stupid. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting heat. I don't know what kind of heat it is. It might be a mixture of different
Okay,
kinds,
so
but-
Podcast Dad appreciates it. You are appropriately reacting to it.
Yes, but I also agree with his co-host, and I would just like Chris Jericho to not be wrestling anymore.
Well, we'll get there at the end of the contract.
I guess, but I mean, I feel like he would have to at least have one final run in WWE.
No, he's done.
You don't need it?
Well, not with Triple H running it. Triple H doesn't want him back. They never
Saudi
had
match?
matches there.
Saudi match?
That Saudi paycheck, though.
Hey.
It got Shawn Michaels to come out there, and that was...
Nah, we don't talk about that. That never happened.
Sorry, let's move on to MJF versus Hechicero? Is that how you pronounce it?
Cicero, good job.
Okay, fair enough. You know, my Spanish isn't that great, but I
can
do
tell.
feel like MJF is being misused here for Forbidden Door, and that's not taking anything away from his opponent. I just don't know anything about him. I'm assuming he is a legend in Lucha Libre, but I feel like MJF could have been positioned in a bigger match, and this is one of their bigger shows. I mean, you could say every pay-per-view that AEW does is a big show, but I don't know. I would just like to see him in a different matchup. That's all. I don't think this is going to be that great, but it is nice to have MJF back. But all that being said, I'm going to go with MJF. I think this is an easy one. Tucky, what about you?
He is a former world champion.
Okay.
Hechicero. That's what I got in my very brief. I'm going MJF. It's in Long Island. Come on.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's going to get a good pop tonight.
Yeah.
Hechicero also has a win over Zack Sabre Jr. So
Does he really?
Something. That's a thing.
again, but AEW should be hyping that up a little bit. I feel.
Tell us that.
Look, this was supposed to be Roosh. It didn't happen because of the politics with. I can't remember. It's not CMLL. It's AAA.
AAA, yeah.
So this is what they have. You want to get MJF on the card. Is this the best use? Hell no. MJF comes back, and this is what's happening. This sucks. I think we're going to see MJF again later in the night because we can't. I don't know. I keep going back and forth. Like, this can't be the only involvement MJF has on this show. It's in Long Island. I feel like this is going to open to kind of get that pop, and it's not that important of a match. But like, he came back, he re-signed, and this is what you're doing with him. Like, my ears are perked a little bit. Like, okay, something else has got to happen, right?
Yeah.
The dad sense is tingling.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Kentucky, I know you're not locked in with AEW as much as you once were, but how have you felt about this MJF return so far?
I will appreciate the space they've given Swerve to work. And I agree it's not the best use of MJF on the card, but I do like in some capacity, if you throw MJF right back in it, right at the top of Swerve, does Swerve build the reign he's working towards? So I kind of appreciate that they're easing him back in, but I would not be upset with shenanigans at the end of the card.
Yeah. And I feel like they had a story in place. Obviously, Adam Cole's not cleared, but Adam Cole wasn't the only one that took MJF out. Why isn't he going after the rest of the whatever the hell they're called?
Didn't they
I feel like-
essentially squash that, though, when Adam Cole
but
and
like-
MJF returned?
But you would think they would do something to kind of close the door on that. I don't
You
know.
would. but maybe that was their way of closing the door, is just having that
I
segment
guess.
to
It's
close.
AEW booking. Who knows?
Ray Brown hopes that this would be equivalent to MJF beating Jushin Thunder Liger. Okay, apparently he's been all over the world the past 20 years. And Robbie agrees it does feel weird. I hear MJF, and I always think he's a very important match or the main event. And yeah, that's not the case here, and is in his hometown too, like you guys said. But nonetheless, definitely going to get a good reaction. Hopefully it's a good match. But one match I am looking forward to, I'm a big Orange Cassidy fan. He's going to be taking on the man that the podcast dad just mentioned, Zack Sabre Jr. Don't know much about these two's history, but I do know that this one's going to be interesting because you got Zack Sabre Jr., who works that technical style, taking on Orange Cassidy, who has his own style out there. But Tucky, who do you think's going to win this matchup?
Okay, I think Orange Cassidy can keep up in the like sneakily in the technical category. I think this match is going to be awesome. I think I'm going Zack Sabre Jr. Kind of like point to New Japan, well earned, well deserved. I don't know. I think this is going to be a fun one, but I guess I'll claim Zack Sabre Jr.
I don't think Sabre Jr. has won any matches that he's had on AEW pay-per-views as well. I know he's wrestled a couple times on Dynamite, but I can't remember him getting a win on a pay-per-view. Because didn't he have a match with Bryan Danielson before on one of these cards?
Yep, last year.
Yeah, and I've been to 2 Forbidden Doors, and honestly, it's hard for me to remember what happened at those Forbidden Doors, even though they were good shows. It's like, I don't know enough about these guys. But Podcast Dad, what do we think about this one?
I think it'll be fine. Quick shout out to the Ringside Club and Chad Law, who has Orange Cassidy's nickname is Pockets. I love that. I'm gonna start calling him Pockets. But yeah, this one it depends on if you like the way Zack Sabre Jr. wrestles. If you do, you're gonna love it. If you don't, you're not gonna like it, and you're kind of what you said. There might be a piss break match for people. I like the way Zack Sabre Jr. wrestles. Orange Cassidy, I think, has lost a bit of momentum since this point last year. Right now he had the feud with Moxley, and that was at All Out. I think they main evented, and I thought that was the launching point. Like, oh man, they just made Orange Cassidy in a loss, and then the biggest thing he's done since is have a feud with Trent. So, is this his new launching point? I don't know. Is this something for Zack Sabre Jr. to try out and go? For Tony Khan to go, hey, look, Will Ospreay's doing this. You can do this as well. You can just fly in and we'll pay for it and all that good stuff. So is this a ploy to try to get Zack Sabre Jr. in AEW? I don't know. With that being said, I'm going to go Zack Sabre Jr. because I don't know.
I mean, that's fair because it's kind of a coin flip for me. I think, like you guys mentioned earlier, that some of these non-AEW guys got to get wins. It can't just be an AEW sweep on this card. And if you were to look at the card as a whole, I think this is definitely one of those matches where you look at it and you think, okay, Orange Cassidy, if he does lose, he's still probably in the same position he was before the match. I mean,
even if he wins.
Yeah, I mean, if he wins too, I mean, there hasn't been that thing post-Trent quite yet for him to dive into. I don't think this is it because Sabre Jr. is not a rostered AEW guy. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to agree with you guys. I don't feel too confident about it, but I think Zack Sabre Jr. winning here could be beneficial. So, yeah, clean sweep. I was not expecting that, but regardless, I am looking forward to that match, as I am looking forward to Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. I might have butchered that as well, but as you can see, I'm wearing my Bryan Danielson appreciation shirt. I appreciate this man because we don't know how much longer he's going to be wrestling on our television screens. But I don't know anything about the guy that he's facing here, Podcast Dad. So maybe you know a little bit about it, but I do know Owen Hart qualifier. I think this is, or not a qualifier. It is a tournament.
Quarterfinal.
Got it.
Yep. Yeah. I do know a lot about Takagi. He's a legend over there, and he will knock your head off. So that. Danielson, watch out because we've had a history of head injuries, so please don't get your head knocked off. But no, I mean, this will be a good match. It's kind of one of those dream matches that Forbidden Door, I think, was supposed to be, that we're not seeing much of those anymore since we have a ton of New Japan involvement anyway. I think they kind of played their hand with this one, though, being a Owen Hart Cup tournament match. Man, that was a mouthful. But
Yeah.
give me Danielson. I don't know if Danielson wins this tournament. I still think we may have a Jay White resurgence winning this tournament. But give me Danielson winning this. Should be a really, really good match because, like you said, I don't know how many more Danielson matches we're getting. You know, he's going to go all out, and we're going to have a fun time with this.
Absolutely. And Robbie asked the question, how long do you guys think Danielson is away from retirement? I've heard rumors that it could be this year, and I believe there is an AEW pay-per-view happening in Washington later in the calendar year as well. A lot of people are speculating that that could be the retirement match for Bryan Danielson.
So his contract is up, I want to say in August. And Wrestle Dream is in Seattle in November, I want to say. And he said he wants to be on that card. So that would probably be his last match.
Maybe just as like a one-match deal. And, you know, he's there for the build, for it, all of it. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Tuck, do you think this is probably the last calendar year we'll see Bryan Danielson wrestle?
I wouldn't be surprised. And also, wouldn't mind if it went a little bit longer. You know, I'm wearing the Danielson shirt. You know, I've grown to love him because I missed out on the Yes movement. You know what I mean? And so, I do think it's totally realistic to think he might be done at the end of the year. And I think Wrestle Dream would be a great send off. And I'm taking him tonight over Shingo Takagi.
Yeah, I think that's a clean sweep here for the main event mixer crew. So let's move on to an IWGP title match between Jon Moxley and Naito. I don't know about this one. I'm not feeling confident whatsoever because eventually Moxley does have to drop that title, but part of me is thinking that they wouldn't have Moxley drop New Japan's title on an AEW show. So with that thinking, I'm going to go with Mox. Once again, I don't know much about Naito. I mean, I've heard the name. I've seen what he's accomplished on social media, but, you know, I haven't done a deep dive or anything. But, yeah, I think Moxley's going to walk away with that title and hold that for a little bit longer. Tuck, what do you think?
I'm going to pick Naito because I think this is a point that could make sense for New Japan, getting the IWGP back to a New Japan guy's hands, where Jon Moxley's an AEW wrestler, you know, and it could work out. So I'm flipping the point kind of to just mix it up. But I think like if Naito were to win, and that's a New Japan guy kind of winning the New Japan a little, you know, IWGP title, okay, that one kind of makes sense. But it also makes complete sense for Moxley to win too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. Podcast that, what we think.
So the only reason I'm going to go Moxley is because of the stipulation of this match. If Moxley wins, he gets to go into the G1. So
I didn't know that.
I think Moxley will win and then get to participate in the G1. I also think that
he loves
Moxley's
it too.
He does. He's having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Moxley's going to end up dropping this title to Shota Umino, his protege over there in New Japan. I think that's the eventual goal for this because New Japan needs to build new stars. I know I'm getting a little deep here. I apologize, but Naito has been over there. You know, when you think New Japan over the last 10 years, it's Okada, it's Tanahashi, it's Naito, right? And Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. But he's kind of that last old guard that's standing in the main event scene over there. So I think Moxley wins. Kind of like you said, I don't know if they have Moxley drop the IWGP champion on a AEW show. This whole thing's just weird. With the caveat of going into the G1, I'm going to say Moxley does it because who knows when he will get that chance again.
Yeah, hard to disagree with you there, sir. Cheap plug, I got to shill a little bit. If you want to hear a more fun and interesting way of looking at Forbidden Door, we just did a WWE versus AEW Forbidden Door card on OTM. It's something we've done before. It's probably going to be a yearly tradition. I think you guys would enjoy that, so just check us out on the socials at Pod on the Mark. I don't know if you guys got the chance to check out that episode, But is there any matches that stood out to you if you did tune in?
I gotta go back and watch it. Sorry, bud.
That's fair. Tuck, did you get to it or no?
Absolutely not.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. But hey,
I'm
apparently
sorry.
our special guest cooked. That's what Robbie Collins
Good.
was saying. It was a good episode, so definitely go check that out. But
I'll have to be on that next year. Let me be on that one next year. I'm gonna bookmark my guest appearance for that one.
Yeah.
You might be able to do a rotating panel for that one.
That sounds fun.
A lot of people could bring some stuff, some juice. I think
Yeah.
that's an interesting one.
Well, originally that was going to be the plan for episode 200 was we were going to book that card and we were just going to bring in multiple people to give us a few matches. So maybe 2025 we can revisit that and do it that way. So stay tuned for that next year, folks. Put that in your calendar. But a matchup that a lot of people are talking about, which is going to be a title for title match, is Mercedes Moné taking on Stephanie Vaquer. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yep.
I don't, once again, sorry guys, I'm not that into companies outside of WWE and AEW, so I don't know anything about Stephanie. Podcast Dad, can you give us any information on her?
Nope.
No? Okay. I figured if you knew about New Japan, you might know about her.
No, this one not as much. She's a great wrestler, from what I've seen. Just her brief time in AEW and some of the things I've seen online. But let's be honest, how much are they paying Mercedes?
10 million, I think.
All right. Well, that's all I need to say.
I mean, it was very obvious, too, if anybody did watch Collision last night. Stephanie took out Mercedes, held both the titles up. I was 99% going into this card thinking Mercedes was going to win. Now I'm at 100%. Like you said, she's the biggest star in their women's division. Of course, she's going to hold multiple titles because apparently she has creative control in AEW as well. So,
brother,
I think, Mercedes, we remember Who Killed WCW? You ever seen that show? Just saying. But,
Mr. watched all 4 parts with me.
Oh, did she enjoy it?
She enjoys a good doc. She's a Dark Side of the Ring chick as well. She watched all of them.
Same here. The podcast mom loves Dark Side of the Ring.
That must be a thing. Once again, I can't contribute to the conversation because I don't have a wife. All right, Tuck.
Yet. It's growth mindset, Kyle.
Yet. I don't have a wife yet. There we go.
That's it.
Find you one in Cleveland. Don't worry.
Hey,
that's where mine's from.
We'll
it's
find
okay.
you a steamer.
Yeah. That's why she's coming. That's why Friday I'm MIA because I got to celebrate her birthday since it's on SummerSlam.
You got to pick and choose.
Podcast out on a work trip. Checking multiple boxes while in Cleveland. You love to see it. Okay, I actually haven't seen any of the Mercedes matches since you went back to wrestling, but all I've heard is Mercedes have been flat in the ring, and every match it felt the same. That's from Robbie Collins, who was answered on Ask CVV number 36. 36 or 37.
He's always asking questions on CVV's podcast, so it's cool
that was
to
dope.
see
Shout out to Robbie.
branching out. Gray Brown Hope said, of course she has creative control. Got to keep the crybabies happy. Tuck, I didn't even ask for your pick, but I'm assuming you're going with Mercedes.
It's money.
Yep. Clean sweep there. But the next one's pretty interesting. It's going to be a fun one. You know, when AEW does their ladder matches, they're always, entertaining. We got the TNT ladder match for the vacant title. Obviously, Adam Copeland unable to compete. We have Jack Perry versus Leo Rush versus Dante Martin versus Mark Briscoe versus Konosuke Takeshita and El Fantasmo. When I look at this field, I really only am focused on 2 names, and that's Jack Perry and Konosuke Takeshita. And I think a lot of people...
We got Gags freezing.
Struck again.
I will agree with Gags as he unfreezes hopefully soon that I think I'm looking at Jack Perry and Konosuke Takeshita as well. Gags, keep going.
Yeah, no, I think those are definitely the 2 favorites. If you're asking me who needs it more, I think Takeshita does, just because after he picked up those huge wins against Kenny Omega, they really didn't do anything with him. So him with the TNT title would make a lot of sense, but it just makes more sense, like I said earlier, for the Elite to eventually be holding all the gold. So I'm going to go with Jack Perry here. I like what they're doing. I like what he's doing. He's sort of reinvented himself in AEW. So let's put the title on him, and I think a lot of good things can come of it. Tuck, what do you think?
I also have Jack Perry circled just from a star power perspective and his tie into the elite. That's what I'm going with. I think this is going to be a fun match.
Did you decide it like Robbie did with the spinner wheel?
I did not use the spinner. No, I just used my own beautiful brain. It would have been funny if it landed on somebody else, so probably.
Great Brown hopes that the name Phantasmo is a mockery of all great things that are Lucha Libre. I hope I never run into him. See? Great Brown.
That Four Locos kicking in.
Podcast Dad, what do we think about this ladder match?
Well, I think it would be smart to give Takeshita this title because, like you said, they haven't done anything with him. And if they drop the ball on him, he's going to go to WWE and they're going to make him a star. I think he needs this title. Personally, I would book him to win this match. I think they're going to give it to Midcard Evolution, and Jack Perry's going to win this.
Midcard Evolution.
Look, that's where they are, right? They have the tag titles, the international, whatever the hell it is, and now the TNT. Like, all right. But I think they're going to give it to Jack Perry. Takeshita deserves it. My dark horse, and it's something I said on our show, because if you go back to NXT in the Women's North American Championship, we didn't think Kalani was going to win.
Yeah.
Like we were all on Sol Ruca, we were all on Fallon Henley. It was like, okay, one of these two are going to win, right? Mark Briscoe, I think, is the dark horse in this one because I think he could go on TV and have a bunch of good matches. And people love to see him. People love to watch him. So I wouldn't be shocked if Mark Briscoe wins it.
My question to you is, do you think with him already having that ROH title, that would be a little too much?
Does anybody know he has the ROH title?
Probably not. I mean,
there
I
you
did,
go.
But it's probably
I didn't.
A small percentage. Oh, you didn't know that?
I totally forgot he was the Ring of Honor World Champion.
You're telling me you're not paying whatever amount of money every week to watch ROH?
No, I'm not. No, probably not, because I mean they had Eddie Kingston hold 3 titles at once, so who cares?
Ooh, hey, the mask behind the podcast ad looks absolutely spectacular. Didn't notice it until now. What mask is it? Is that a Ray mask?
Which one? We got a Ray and we got a La Parka mask back there as well.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I do like that. The Ray one's the green one, right? Or teal? What color is that?
Yep. The green one back there. Yes, that one is actually from Mexico. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice. TNT title match. We are all going with Jack Perry to become the brand new TNT champion. Tuck, any new additions to your back wall back there? I haven't seen you in a couple months.
We've been busy. Let me tell you. Added the Maivia Legacy 3-pack with the Rocky Maivia, The Rock, and Rocky Johnson, Logan Paul, Hulk Hogan, Swerve Strickland, the Acclaim, signed Kenny Omega, signed Rey Mysterio. Wow, it's just it's electric over here. Very proud of the collection. Can't wait for WrestleCon. We'll talk it.
Hey, he likes your big cup too. Why don't you show him the old Wheelhouse logo there? So, Podcast Dad, you didn't know this. Tuck used to host a baseball podcast, and you probably would have liked it because I think
it was good.
I would have liked it. Yes. Should I put on my hat for you?
Let's go.
Oh, hold on. Wait till you see who he's a fan of. You don't even know, do you, Tuck?
There we go.
There we go.
All right, I'll do the rest of the show like this. We ready?
There it is.
The Philly Fanatic has made a guest appearance for the very first time.
Weird.
Tucky should do a blog on the Main Event Net about his awesome figure collection.
You should.
Oh,
he's got a lot of time on his hands.
yeah, that'll happen. Excited for WrestleCon. We'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah, we're just trying to get Tuck back on OTM, so we'll get him back on OTM first, and then he can start blogging. Very active over there. We got a few more matches though to talk about, 2 to be exact. Timeless Toni Storm taking on Mina Shirakawa. I have been a big fan of Mina ever since she has come to AEW. I think that is someone that they should definitely target to make a full-time member of their roster. She's got a bright personality, a great character. But Tuck, let me go to you first. Actually, no, I'll go to the podcast dad first on this one. I find this one to be interesting because you could use that title as leverage to potentially maybe to get Mina to come over. But all that being said, Tony's doing great things with that AEW women's title. So who do you think is going to win this one?
Look, a title is not going to mean any leverage. I got to take this off. I can't. A title doesn't mean leverage. You know what means leverage?
Facts.
Money. If they pay her enough money, she will come over. Toni Storm's not losing this title. She's going to lose it at Wembley. I think whether she likes to or not, Mariah May is going to pick a side tonight. Whether that's on accident, on purpose, I'm not sure, but I think she will stay with Toni Storm. We saw the issue on Dynamite where Mina smashed her in the head with the bottle. I think that's going to come back into play somehow. Give me Toni Storm. I think she retains, but I agree. Mina should be on the roster. I think she adds a breath of fresh air.
For sure. And she's actually got very strong English. I know she's been studying English for the past 10 years or something like that. She sat down with RJ City on Hey EW. That was highly entertaining. She's just very charismatic, and I definitely would like to see her more. But yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, though. I'm going to go with timeless Toni Storm to retain her title here. We talked about it earlier. We all think that Mariah May is going to defeat Saraya. So you got to set up that match down the road between Mariah May and Toni Storm. It's the only way to get there. Toni retains. Tuck, what do you think?
Same. Toni retains. Nothing more.
Bring on another Toni Storm W. Robbie says, love her. Yeah, she's definitely one of the bright spots on AEW television. And Great Brown Hope said, we all know Mariah May is picking the Great Brown Hope. Do we know that?
We don't know that.
Wow, you just got poo-pooed.
Yeah.
Take that.
Sorry.
But also go check out his blogs about Dijak. Now that Dijak is a free agent in wrestling, he did a breakdown of his 5 favorite matches in NXT. Very good read. On the website.
Dijak should use that as a reference.
He showed up last night.
Oh yeah, where was that again?
Prestige.
Was it Canada?
Prestige.
No,
I don't know where that is, but
yeah, I don't know where that's at either.
I think maybe over in Europe.
What did he do? Do you know?
He just showed up.
Oh.
Yep.
Wait, so
He's
there's
here.
no like non-compete on?
No, his contract expired.
Oh, it expired. That's right.
Yep.
He wasn't let go.
So he's good
That
to
makes
go.
sense.
We might see him
at
tonight.
Forbidden Door?
We
Yeah.
might see him tonight. I mean, who knows? He could
Who
be the
says no?
mystery guy in the Owen Hart Cup. We don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. They faced Jeff Jarrett, right?
Yeah, which okay. Again, people hating on Jeff Jarrett being in this tournament.
It's history.
Exactly. Go back and do your research and shut up.
They did the
Dijak
video
is slated
package.
to make an appearance for Prestige Wrestling September 29th. Prestige Wrestling by Deadlock Pro by West Coast Pro September 29th in Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean he can't show up to AEW, right? They're open.
He's a free agent. You can do whatever
It
you
is
want.
the
make it a
Forbidden
little-
Door after all.
Makes it a little different than kind of from the WWE side of things, but WWE TNA, NXT TNA, here we are.
You better.
We have a question for you. Do you believe?
God damn it. Yeah.
He's like, God damn it, yeah.
You're starting to believe now?
How do you? Did you not believe?
No, I didn't know I didn't know I was not believing.
He wasn't in the know. He didn't know about like the Joe Hendry craze going on.
The
on
camera
social
was
media.
shaky.
That is the most recent downloaded song on my Apple Music.
Love that.
It's fantastic.
Great Brown Hope said he could literally show up dressed as Dijak and no one can do anything about it. Yep, 100% true. So we got one more match to talk about. It's going to be the main event, and it's going to be a very, very good match as the AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland takes on the international champion Will Ospreay. And, I would not be surprised if Will Ospreay won this match. But something tells me, and I'm once again going to go back to an old prediction that I did on the last AEW pay-per-view. I guessed that the Don Callis family would be the reason that Will Ospreay was going to lose to Roderick Strong. Something tells me that is going to happen here tonight in the main event. I know a lot of people want it to be a clean match with a clean finish, but I just don't think it can be because Swerve needs to hold that title just a bit more. The reign as a whole has been kind of underwhelming for me personally. So have Swerve retain here. I think it's going to be very fun, but I just can't confidently sit here and say that Will Ospreay is going to win the AEW title tonight. Tuck, how do you feel about this one?
I agree with Robbie Collins. If you want to pull up that comment, I think Will Ospreay in Wembley. I think that's the move. So I think Swerve finds some way to retain it tonight, and that does add legitimacy to his resume, and it also bodes well for Ospreay winning it back in Wembley potentially. That's where I'm at.
Okay, podcast dad, you gonna differ with us here?
Yes, I am.
Sure.
Something in my gut is telling me Will Ospreay is going to win, and you have somebody interfering. I also have somebody interfering because I think they might have played their cards last night and shown them. I think Hangman's going to come back and cost Swerve this title because Swerve literally has no reason to wrestle Hangman again unless Hangman cost him his title.
That makes a lot of sense. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
Hangman.
I'm going Ospreay.
But could Heyman also just be the guy in the Owen Hart Cup? You know, the wild
Could be.
card?
It could be, but
Yours
again,
makes a lot of sense.
How hot do you want to bring him back?
how much are you paying Will Ospreay?
That I do not know.
And it's about the same as Mercedes. And you're flying him in every week.
Yeah.
Give him the world title. The dude's the best wrestler in the world. Give him the world title. Let him walk into Wembley with the championship, and then have him face Jay White in the main event, and we're all good.
I'm not going to change my pick, but what you were saying makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be mad at it, but man, I've always been a Swerve guy. Tuck knows this. Going back to 2019 when he was in NXT, I tried to call my shot saying that he was going to be NXT champion that year. It did not happen, but yeah, it was close. And I got a like from Swerve when we clipped it and put it on social media. So I definitely remember that moment. But I don't know, man.
I want Swerve to win. I do. AEW, and it's something I've said on multiple shows I'm not sure if I've said on the Mixer, they have such a hard time booking babyface champions that with him being a babyface, I think you want to, like, the Swerve that I wanted to win the title was breaking into Hangman's house and, singing to his baby. That's the Swerve that I want. The kind of psychological horror movie villain that I want. The guy that was in that brutal match with Hangman. That is the Swerve that I want. And I think if Hangman comes back, that's the Swerve we're going to get, rather than this kind of white meat. We saw a little bit of the old Swerve when he did the kick to Ospreay on Dynamite. We saw a little bit of it, but I just think AEW has such a hard time booking their world champion as a babyface that it's just not. Every time we get the chase. Remember, Hangman got the chase, and when he won, it was awesome, and then his title reign sucked. Punk, the race was awesome, and then the title reign sucked. MJF, it was awesome, and then he turned babyface, and then the title reign sucked. And now this one, kind of the same thing. So I think if you're looking at it, give it to Ospreay. He's kind of that tweener anyway, that you could still pull that Don Callis card out and have that relationship kind of be murky. And I don't know. My gut is just telling me Ospreay's walking out with the title tonight.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with you, Tuck. I think that's something that we've talked about too, not just with AEW, but wrestling as a whole. It's very difficult to book babyface champions nowadays. I know a lot of people are critiquing Cody Rhodes. I think it's still unfair to be critiquing his reign. Yeah, but you got any additional thoughts on all that?
No, I would be excited for that. I think that's a better use of Hangman Page than making him the mystery person in the Owen Hart Cup. I do think he would elevate the Owen Hart Cup. The past two champions have been flat with Ricky Starks and Adam Cole, so that could be a thing as well. I'm sticking with Swerve, but I'm going to keep my eye open now.
Yeah, me too. He's got me second guessing myself.
Right.
Speaking,
give me the pencil, Tony.
There you go. I'd gladly give you the pencil over him. But nonetheless, speaking of Ricky Starks, when's the next time we're going to see Ricky in wrestling in general? Will it be in an AEW ring, or do we think he's going to be coming over to WWE sometime soon?
I don't know when his contract is up.
I couldn't.
But it feels like I don't think we're going to see him in AEW next. Like, I think he's done and on the Cody train, right?
Ever since Mania, when he was there and cheering, and Tony was like, "Yep, no, I'm not going to put that guy on TV anymore."
Crazy.
If anybody in the comments knows what the contract situation is for Ricky Starks, please let us know, because that might make things easier to decipher where he's going to be going next. But nonetheless, that is all of the Forbidden Door card. We appreciate everybody that tuned in live. We do have one more comment trickling in from Robbie saying, Hendry tweeting anywhere, anytime, any show, say his name and he appears. Will we see Joe Hendry tonight? Probably not.
Hell no.
Because he's working with the WWE right now.
Hell no. He saw that
That would be
WWE
so
money and was
funny.
like,
I mean, you hear that story of him buying that billboard in Scotland on that Friday of Clash at the Castle? Just no context, bought it.
Yeah.
Smart man. Very smart.
We might see him in WWE before we see Ricky Starks.
You ain't lying. Robbie, thanks, man. Appreciate it. He's going to get some coffee. Yeah, very late night for him.
Cheers.
Over
Yikes.
there. It's going to be late for all of us, but nonetheless, it should be a good time. Don't forget, check out our podcasts, respectively. Pod on the Mark and at Junkies. Pod is where you can find the Wrestling Junkies. Don't forget to check out all the merch we have available at the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. That retro main event logo is a beauty. We got tank tops. We got t-shirts. Go ahead and support the network by checking that out and using promo code DOOR. And of course, follow us on all the socials at mainevent_net. Guys, any final remarks before we sign off?
Okay, can we talk WrestleCon for a minute?
On air or off air?
Right here. Are you gonna go? Gags, are you interested?
You're talking for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Tori Wilson, in or out?
I'm not a Tori Wilson guy. Before my
Trish
time.
Stratus.
In, probably, depending on the price.
What are we talking about?
Visiting or
Okay, sorry.
meeting them. Meeting them.
Yeah. Wait a minute. What about the Garcias, Nikki and Brie Bella? Boom.
No,
Ow.
I've always
Ow.
I'm anti-Bella Twins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody good at this?
Can I interest you? Can I interest you in a? I don't know if there's a guy on here. Matt Riddle.
No. Out.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent on that one, depending on the price. Once again, you know me.
That-
I'm
That one
tight
has
on
no
money.
price available. Here, I'm
So
going
it's a lot of
for.
money.
It's
I'm
420.
going for. Well, that's not a lot of money because like the Bellas are $259 for a combo, which is autographed, 2 autographs, a picture with both, and yeah,
It's one of my
$250.
SummerSlam ticket.
I know.
I was gonna say, guy.
You can. Hey, Sting's 150. That ain't bad.
That sounds a lot better when you compare it to the Bella Twins price.
I'm doing. I think if I can get the figure off of eBay, I had the Team Extreme 3-pack when I was a kid. The Hardys and Lita will be there.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Now that is like toys from my childhood and peak. That the other one that I like are the Dudley Boys, but like they have an Elite coming out, but I don't think it'll be released in time for the WrestleCon. So I really do like wrestling elites. The 3-pack would be cool, but other than
Do you
that,
have room?
oh, I can make room. I added a shelf above the door as you walk in. 8x10s all over. This place is crazy. You'd love it. It's awesome.
I would. I'm gonna have to.
How are you going to skip over the honky tonk man?
Yeah, well, you know. I have a Kurt Angle already. Kevin Nash is intriguing because that was Monday Night Wars for me. I do have a Rob Van Dam figure that I could take with me.
Scott Steiner? All right, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. I
Just
could
for him
see
to cut a promo. Tommy Rich? Come on.
Oh, you're getting the podcast dad very interested.
There
now.
we go. There we go. Now we're
No, I got
talking.
to spend money on my wife. Sorry, I can't go.
Yeah,
Boo.
that's understandable, I guess. But yeah, that should be a fun weekend in Cleveland for SummerSlam. A lot of content coming up for the Main Event Wrestling Network that weekend. So definitely make sure you give us a follow on all the socials. And yeah, guys, appreciate you all for tuning in live. And anybody watching at a later time, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Let us know your predictions as well. And we'll talk to you guys next time on Main Event Mixer, episode 11.